Right, guys, welcome back to another interview on Unhinged. I am joined once again by Andreeas Binder. An absolute pleasure. How are you?
How are you doing, bro? I'm all good. All good, Lenny. How are you keeping?
Yeah, I'm doing absolutely fine. Fantastic. It's an absolute pleasure to be joined by you. And like I said, last time we spoke was January 2022, so it's been a while. It's a lot to catch up on.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming, my man. Long time coming. But yeah, look, we've both evolved. So yeah, looking forward to this conversation we're gonna have.
Absolutely. I mean, as we talked about, we're both involved. It's been so long. Everything's changed. I've had so many guests on. But there was one name that I wanted to get on, and that was Andreas. That I wanted to get him back on. I was like, he's doing phenomenal things. He's beat Chris Strider. He beat his name slipped my name again. The guy with the hairy chest. I forgot his name.
Ross the Mac, man.
Ross,
yeah.
I'm gonna call him the hairy chest man because he could grow some. I'll tell you that for sure. But it's phenomenal. But yeah. What I want to say is the last year I think you've come leaps and bounds, and it's fantastic to see where you are. And with this, the lightweight title bout that we're going to talk about, it's justified. It's deserved.
Yeah, look, everything is just falling into place for me. Since I moved the transition and the move up to Dublin, up to SPG Charlestown with Owen Roddy. I see the progression in my game. I can see the transitioning, and I just see everything's just falling to the right place at the right time,
Absolutely. And just first we move on, I just want to say this interview is sponsored by ProSmo Bets. So make sure you get your bets in with ProSmo Bets. One of the best bettors in the Instagram game. He's got some interesting bets this weekend. So make sure you check him out on Instagram on ProSmo Bets. So yeah. So now we got out of the way. Let's talk some real business. We'll talk about the fight that's happening, the fight coming up soon. But I just want to make sure before we get into that, obviously the last fight against Chris Strider, it was a tough one. It was a gritty one. You got the job done. How do you feel now? We're looking back on that, we're reflecting back on that performance. And how do you feel?
Yeah, I felt great. I wanted to showcase my striking a bit more instead of just the grappling department and my jits. I knew he would be a very experienced, because obviously Stringer's a veteran of the game. You know what I mean? He had over 30-something fights. So I always take the best guys out there, and I always like to challenge myself instead of find bums, really. And yeah, I came out there to fucking put on a performance, make a statement. It was my first time fighting in Amsterdam as well. So yeah, I was just happy. Obviously, like, I'm my own biggest critic, because you always find little flaws in your game and stuff like that. But we went back, we worked on what we needed to work on, and yeah, happy enough with the performance.
Yeah, it was a fantastic win, a good win against a veteran. He's been around for a very long time. He's had loads of fights inside the scene. But obviously, you mentioned afterwards that the leg kicks, they were kind of punishing. You were kind of feeling it, and you said you were compromised a little bit in the fight. How badly kind of were they affecting you? And at one point, was you thinking, maybe I couldn't take too many of them?
No, so you see, the adrenaline was high anyway. So I didn't really feel it. I knew once the adrenaline's high, it's like that in every fight. Once your adrenaline's high, you can't really feel it, and you just keep on driving forward and whatever it is. And like I said, I have a championship mentality, so I just had to adapt and overcome. But no, in the third round, I felt a little bit because he was keep chopping that lead leg. I didn't really feel it throughout the fight, and I couldn't really get that push off the lead leg, so I had to switch my stance. But yeah, I just worked on the feet. I knew he liked to stand and trade. So I was like, right, I can stand and trade too. And I just found the upper hand in my striking with the power, especially my power up in there. And that was a welterweight. Do you know what I mean? I was getting ready to fight a lightweight in a couple of weeks after, but this came up with the opportunity. LFL got in touch with my managers. So I was like, right, let's step in. It's a good promotion and nice to kind of expand your fan base. And yeah, it was just, look, I got the job done. That's all I wanted, and I wanted to make it as entertaining as possible for everyone.
Absolutely, you got the job done, but the most important thing is that you got that victory, and it's going to lead you on to bigger and better things in the future, and that's exactly what it's done. I mean, look at your next fight. Before we get into that, though, dropping down to lightweight, you just mentioned it there. I just want to kind of ask, what is the reasoning for dropping down to lightweight? I know it's the first time that you'll be fighting at lightweight. You fought at middleweight, you fought at welterweight, and now you're kind of working your way down there. You're becoming the Irish Jared Cannonier or something.
Yeah, man. It's just these motherfuckers are just so big, man. At welterweight, like, you know, they cut around 90 something plus kilos down to 77. No, look, I got in touch. We sat down after this fight. I sat down with Roddy, with my nutritionist and all that, and we were like, look, the lads are just huge at welterweight. Like, you know, like, I'm dropping people like flies at welterweight. So imagine what I can do at lightweight. Do you know what I mean? The weight cut for welterweight is very, very easy for me. And like, I walk very light for welterweight anyway. So I think it's at the right time of my career that I've experienced all this on the big shows. I experienced the weight cuts, the hydration, everything. So I know what I'm at. And with such a good team behind me, I think this is the best move I can make, looking at my future and looking at the career ahead of me, you know?
Yeah, I completely agree. It opens you up. I mean, if you look at the lightweight divisions in, you know, the big promotions, they're stacked. They're rammed. It's that phenomenal. And added Andreeas Binder to one of them divisions, it wouldn't be it wouldn't be too bad of an idea. I'd like it. But yes, moving down to lightweight. As you talked about there, the welterweight cut, you know, it's not really that significant. You know, you make it really easy. But going down to lightweight, obviously you're going to cut, and maybe it's going to be hard. Have you kind of had like a little test cut to, you know, to maybe, you know, kind of realize, yeah, this is definitely doable?
Yeah, so we've done all the test cuts, we've done all the DEXA scans, we've done everything. Do you know what I mean? Because we wouldn't be jumping. Oh yeah, we're gonna fight
Yeah,
lightweight tomorrow. Do you know what I mean? You
yeah.
need a long process, and that's why this is perfect. Because the fight is about 8-9 weeks away, so it gives us that time to adapt our body to the lightweight division, to adapt our mindset more than anything. You know what I mean? So yeah, we're ready. We're ready to go.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's talk about that fight. The first fight at lightweight will be against Aiden Lee, you know, a veteran. He's been around the game. He's been in Bellator a very long time. He's fought some of the best in Bellator. This is a really, really good match. He's very awkward. He's good on the ground. You know, he's got some really good striking, very similar to yourself. How do you see this matchup kind of playing out against Aiden Lee?
Look, it's going to be a very technical matchup. I know he's dangerous on the ground, but I don't really care. At the end of the day, this is an MMA matchup. So the jiu-jitsu will go out the window once I land one shot. And no, look, I respect him as a fighter, and I always take the hardest fights out there. You know, I never dodge anyone, and I always fight the best because that's where I need to get. But he's just someone in my way at the wrong time, and yeah, I'm just gonna keep on progressing forward. And once I get rid of Aiden, I'm looking at bigger things.
Absolutely. You conquered Ireland. You won that cage conflict belt. You won the Clan Wars belt. Where would kind of the LFA belt, where would that rank amongst, you know, them fantastic belts?
Yeah, it's such like any belt is a great achievement for any fighter, really. Like, but this is just marking my territory, should I say, in the European circuit, and kind of stamping my foot down there, and be like, look, this is who I am, and this is what I'm about. And yeah, I'm just ready to go, and I'm excited. Like, it's a very, very technical and interesting matchup for me and him. And at the end of the day, we're both trying to climb that ladder and that big promotion. So yeah, like I just said, it's just the wrong person at the wrong time, and he's just in my way, you know. And I'm pretty sure I'm the same for him. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this.
This is such a fantastic matchup. When LFL announced this, it was such a great matchup, and I loved it. I think the styles is going to make a fantastic fight. But when they came to you and they said Aiden Lee, that's who we've got, LFL, you know, lightweight championship. What's the immediate thoughts? Was there a little bit of a smile on your face because you were fighting someone experienced as Aiden Lee and as good, and it would look better on your resume?
I had 3 or 4 different names thrown at me, and I said yes to every single one of them, you know. But it was only Aiden Lee that accepted the fight, so I was like, right, he accepted it. I want that fight, so let's do it. Not gonna mention names, but look, they were very, very hard fights, and I said yes to every single one of them. But some of them decided to stay at welter, some of them just had no interest in it, some of them even vacated the belt. So yeah, look, me and Aiden are going to go in there 5 rounds, absolute poke in the head of each other for 25 minutes if it lasts. the 5 rounds. But it's going to be an interesting fight, an entertaining fight, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to leave every single person in that crowd with their mouths wide open.
It's such a fantastic fight. It just makes me laugh because we're seeing these type of fights on the regional scene, on the European scene, and these sort of fights we could see it on the UFC, we could see it on the Bellator, we could see it on the Cage Warriors, and that little bit kind of frustrates me. But it's a great fight. I'm looking forward to it. And we talked about the matchup a little bit. He's tricky on the ground. His striking is very good. But I said that's very similar to you. I know you're really good on the ground. You're really good in the clinch. We've seen that in your last fight when you sent the man flying. And obviously your striking is very good. We've seen your knockouts. We saw it's very similar matchup. Where do you see the defining factor being won? Where do you see this fight being won?
I think it's just the strength, man. The power I'm gonna possess at 70 kilos. It's gonna be a turning point in this fight. Stylistically, we're very, very evenly matched. I wish I could have showed my ground game a bit more in my fights, but it's just they never went to the ground. I only have one submission victory out of my 6 finishes, but I'm just so confident in every aspect of this game, whether it's striking, whether it's clinch work, whether it's wrestling, whether anything. I'm more than ready. I'm training with very, very tough motherfuckers up here, so I'm ready for whatever it brings. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but, I mean FBG,
yeah.
Ireland, Charleston, they've got some fantastic fights. I talked to Will Flurry the other week. He's a monster. He's a big old boy, by the way.
Yeah, he's ever since he made the move up to light heavyweight, man, he's a big problem. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And he's just a workhorse. So look, he is where he is in the PFL regular series for a reason. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. I mean, even like the European series, that they could throw your name into the mix. I think it just all makes sense. It all makes sense. They should add into that Irish, the market. The Irish market is probably one of the best markets in MMA.
Yeah, 100%. Look, we're such a small island. Do you know what I mean? So we've been just kind of bred to you're either box. You either box or you're out drinking pints. You know what I mean? So
a little bit
once you combine the both of them together, do you know what I mean? It's just mad. Look at the Irish crowd, man. Whenever you go to a Bellator, Cage Warriors, PFL, you name it, you see the Irish crowd. Not just saying out of my perspective, but you see everyone around the world. The Irish crowd is the maddest crowd going.
Absolutely. I'd love to talk about, obviously you talked about that briefly on another interview, what you expect after this. I'm going to get to that, but we'll talk about a little bit more still about Aiden Lee. You mentioned obviously the strength. Do you see that? Obviously he's coming up for 145, he's gone up to 155. He's made that move a few fights ago, and obviously you're going down to welter to lightweight. Do you see obviously the strength, the power? Maybe you're going to be bigger than him. I mean, at welterweight, I thought you were quite big anyway. So lightweight, do you feel like maybe the strength and the power and being too big, being too strong, and obviously too rangy? Do you think that? I know Aiden Lee is quite a rangy fighter himself, but do you feel like being a problem?
Yeah, 100%. Like I said, Aiden fought at 145, 155. His last fight, I believe, he fought at 77 on Centurion. But it's just I'm just too big for him. I know that for a fact. He could be all tall and rangy or whatever, but you can be as big as range as you want. If I'm dropping people for fun at welterweight, imagine what I'll do at lightweight. Do you know what I mean? So the power will never leave me, and it's just going to be an interesting fight, for both of us. And me at this stage, I don't trash talk and all that crap. I do my talking in the cage, but he's in for a treat. Let's just say that.
Absolutely, the fans are in for a treat nonetheless. The fans are absolutely in for a treat. But we talked about Aiden Lee's experience. He's fought in Bellator, he's fought in some of the big fights in the world. With a name like Aiden Lee and a win over Aiden Lee, what does that do for you personally and obviously for your career moving forward?
Personally, for me, man, it just puts me up there in the right direction for the future. I'm not looking any other show past Aiden Lee first. He's my main priority because I've done that mistake in the past. I was on a 5-win streak. I looked past my opponent and they ended up losing that fight. So there's no distraction. My full focus is on Aiden, and once I get this out the way, the doors are open. There's Bellator, there's PFL, there's UFC, there's everything. Do you know what I mean? I'm ready for whatever.
Absolutely, I absolutely agree. And I was going to talk about obviously what do you see next, but you kind of capped it off there. I think the PFL Europe would be a fantastic series for yourself. The PFL would be good, as I just said. The UFC, obviously, the Contender Series. They love an Irishman, a brash Irishman who can talk really well. They love it. It makes a lot of sense. And obviously, Bellator, they go to Dublin a lot. It makes a lot of sense. So after this fight, someone has to pick up Andreeas Binder. It just makes a lot of sense. And if I'm these promotions, I'll be kicking myself in the foot because I haven't picked up Andreeas Binder.
Yeah, look, and I show it in every single one of these promotions. Like I fought on Cage Fight Series twice in Austria, and I'm bringing over 50, 60 supporters. That's in short notice.
That's
the
crazy.
Amsterdam fight, do you know what I mean? The last fight on LFL, I took the fight on maybe 2.5, 3 weeks notice. And I brought over yet again a massive Irish crowd. So I have a big following behind me. And imagine me fighting in the Tree Arena in Dublin. I'd sell easily about 500-600 tickets. Easily. So whatever it is, man, look, I'll be ready. But first step is get Aiden Lee out the way first. And then we look forward to whatever's there for us.
Absolutely. And my last few questions. I mean, just look at Colin. He's gone off to Rome this weekend for Cage Warriors. Yeah. I know he's brought loads of guys over there in Ireland, from Ireland over to Rome in Italy. So as you talked about, it's fantastic. I mean, even LFL. Surely they've got to have maybe in the back of their head. Maybe we could take a show to Dublin. Maybe we could put Andreas Binder in the main event.
Yeah, that'll be sick, man. Look, like I said, Ireland are producing a lot of world champions outside the UFC. Look at Rhys McKee there at the weekend, defending his belt in style. And now if Caelan Loughran wins that belt as well, which I know for a fact he will, that's another Irish world champion. Do you know what I mean? I'll be another fucking champion as well. And there's just the list goes on and on and on. Like you see the talent in every single promotion out there. It's mad, so it's only a matter of time that the UFC will come back to Dublin, so the options are there for everyone. So yeah,
absolutely. And we got Paul Hughes as well. I mean, man, it's crazy. The UK scene, the Irish scene, especially, it's booming. It's never been better. It's never, it's really, obviously we had McGregor, but it was like just McGregor. That's all we had. But now, as you talked about, we've got Binder, we've got Caelan Loughran, we've got Rhys McKee, we've got Paul Hughes. It's just, we've got Ian Gary. Come on. I mean, if the UFC or Bellator ever comes to Ireland, they just got to get some of these names on, 100%.
Yeah, 100%. Like, and I'm still surprised. Like, Paul Hughes didn't even I don't know why they're not signing him yet. Like, the lad destroyed that division. Like, there's no one there to fight anymore for him. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, it's just mad. Like, I just seen there on Twitter that Tobias Harila just got signed to Dana White Contender Series. You know what I mean? After the last fight with the Shelly, I just saw it there. It's mad.
Wow.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like he's on Dana White Contender Series, but I see the options that are there straight away. Like, you put a good performance on one of these big shows and UFC Fight Pass, and there you go, you're swept up.
That's crazy. Tommy Torilla just came off a fantastic win over
Adam Shelley, I think it was.
Adam Shelley,
Ryan Shelley.
Ryan Shelley on the weekend that just gone to Cage Warriors. I mean, I've heard some talk about Paul Hughes versus George Hardwick at lightweight for the belt. I've heard a little bit of talk about that, and apparently, I know Paul Hughes. He got on the mic and he's, he got on the camera and he said 2 belt. What's better than 1 belt, 2 belts? And he's flexing. And I've heard a little bit of talk about that, and I think it makes a lot of sense, to be honest.
Man, that will be fucking sick. But yet again, do you want to put 2 champions against each other that one of them potentially, do you know what I mean? One of them potentially will not get the contract and the other one will? Or do you want both of the champions to just go to the UFC? Do you know what I mean?
I think they're both worthy to go to the UFC. I really do.
Exactly, 100%. But that's the thing. If them 2 fight, that's someone's dream. Gone back down a notch, maybe another 2-3 fight delayed. Do you know what I mean? I'd love to see both of them go. And look, it's going to be an interesting fight for fighters and for promoters and everyone, really, like for the fans out there.
Absolutely.
yeah.
And my last few questions. Obviously, UFC 288 going down this weekend, tomorrow night. In fact, this interview will go out later, so we'll get that pick out. We'll get it out. Obviously, Aljamain Sterling versus the King of Cringe, Henry Cejudo. You got a smile on your face. Who have you got?
Oh man, I just think Cejudo will beat him. I don't know, maybe the guy Cejudo fought, the experience he has, and at the end of the day, he's fucking triple C for a reason. Like, you know what I mean? But no, it's going to be an interesting fight, man. Aljamain, it's just like a lot of people kind of sleep on him. Do you know what I mean? But like, he's very, very talented. Like, I just don't like him since the Peter Yan fight. But yeah, I'm gonna have to go for Cejudo, Henry.
Yeah, that's my pick as well. I think Cejudo's better striking. Even the grappling exchanges, I think he's going to get a better of him. I know we've seen Aljamain Sterling. You know, his grappling is very good, but he's good at getting the back, and if he gets your back, and that's it, it's pretty much wrap. But I just don't see Henry Cejudo giving his back or Aljamain Sterling getting his back. So that's the way I've seen it, and I completely agree on that pick. My last question. I know you're an Arsenal fan. I'm a West Ham fan. You were so close to winning the... Well, you still are very close to winning the league. It's not over. It's not over. But how would you rate this season? You're second in the league, and Man City have got a game in hand. You're about 2 points away. How would you rate this season? And do you think Arsenal will get it done?
Ah, it's fucking... You hurt me with that question, man. I'm just fucking delighted to be going back to the Champions League, really, like, because I'm sick and tired of watching the Europa League every Thursday and Friday. Do you know what I mean? But no, look, the talent and the progression that Arteta has brought into that team, and the hunger each player have, it's phenomenal. Like, and it's still a couple of games left, like, but looking at the football that Arsenal are providing, like, it's mad. Like, the beating they just gave Chelsea there 2 days ago, or yesterday, whenever it was just a masterclass. And you see the amount of money that Chelsea spent on players, and Arsenal are like playing their fucking underage team against them. Like, it was men against boys, but it looked like it was the boys absolutely giving them a beating. You know what I mean? So I'm happy, but I'm still pissed off at the same time, because we just let it slip with those stupid 3 draws in a row. Like, so look, it is what it is. It's football, man. Like, you could have the best weekend, the week going, and then you see Arsenal playing, you could hit depression for the rest of the week, you know?
Absolutely agree. It's so unpredictable. It's unbelievable. Like West Ham, we have a good result against Arsenal, then we lose to Man City like 3-0. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. I was praying West Ham was going to beat City, like, but it's just, man, look, you see Man City's class, and it's just you see their starting team, and then you even look at their bench, and like, their bench is worth more than the fucking starting 11 for West Ham, to be honest. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
So hopefully we sweep up Declan Rice from me, so we'll see what happens.
Don't say that. Don't say that. My last thing, I would hate him to go to another London club. I'd love him to go to Manchester, Liverpool, anyone like that. You know, just go away. But a London club, I think that would pain me. I don't think I'd ever watch football ever again.
Yeah. No, it's a tough pill to swallow, man. You know, like, even seeing Aubameyang play for Chelsea there the last night, you could see the guilt on his face for leaving the club. So, yeah, it's money talks these days with football. What can you do?
Absolutely agree. But yeah, thank you very much, Andreas. An absolute pleasure. I wish you the best of luck. It's going to be such a fantastic fight. Make sure you tune in. Thank you so much. An absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much. And thanks for having me on, my man.
Absolutely. Big shout out to Pro Mode Bets. Make sure you catch them on Instagram. Thank you very much. And we'll see you all later. Thank you. Bye.